You want to release the emergency brake when you do your brakes, or else you won't get them off. So what I want to do first, I'm gonna get the hardest part of this job out of the way first. The rest is easy. It's what, if you've done brakes before, it's what you're used to. You just replace this, you replace the pads. These pads are like worn and they're making noise, so these are bad. They're just worn. The other side's making noise. This side not so much, but the other side, yeah. Well, the squeal comes in contact with the rotor as it rotates. So it alerts the driver when the brakes are worn. I've decided to replace the pads, and I'm gonna do the rotor at the same time. It's fairly easy to do. But the problem is this piston, you don't press it in. You got to use a special tool to rotate the piston back into the bore. So I'll show you how to do that now. I mean, I have another video on it. I'll link it in the description. It's called a brake caliper wind back tool. Yeah, you have to use it. You can rent one from like AutoZone, or I'll leave a link in the description where you can buy it on Amazon. It's only like 25 bucks or so. It's not bad. Totally worth it if you're doing this yourself, as opposed to paying someone else to do it. Alright, so this car, I don't know how you can see this, but so when you're doing this, I believe it's the number 7 that fits in here. This little disc that goes right over the this thing here. Yeah, it fits over. And as you put the tool on, it's like a magnetic thing, and as you turn it, it turns the piston back in. But at the same time, you gotta make sure you don't tear this boot or stretch it out or rip it or anything like that. That's the way this works. Put this in like that. You put the disc on the end of this. These go in there like that, so it's magnetic. This is the hardest part of the thing. This is a pain in the ass. So to pull this out, and the disc keeps freaking falling down. This is going to be a pain in the ass to do, trust me. This is the most frustrating part of doing this. They just make cars easier to work on sometimes. So the way you do this, you slide the thing in like I showed you, and you gotta wind back this collar so it takes up the slack, you know, so it's so that you can get this whole thing flush and, you know, fit it inside. Fit this. It's gonna be slack when you first put it in. Sorry, my arm's in the way, but you gotta turn this part back so that it takes up the slack, and then you gotta turn it. Oh, there she goes. You have to turn it. In a minute. Another thing you have to do is spray it with brake clean. Spray it with brake cleans to lubricate it. It helps to and then it evaporates right away. This way your boot won't bind up. It'll severely lessen the chance of your boot binding up. Keep it nice and flush. Turn this part back as you're moving forward. And there she goes. And turn back. I just keep working it in. I'm sorry, my arm's in the way. If my arm's in the way, I'm kind of running short on time here. I have another video, of course, like I said before. I'll link it in the description. This is the biggest. Spray it again. Make sure your boot isn't binding up. I use brake cleans. That's what I have. So you have to lubricate it. You want to keep that boot lubricated so it doesn't bind up. So you do not want the boot to bind up on you. Alright, looks good. Looks good. You turn the collar back as you're moving. You can take a tool or use your hand like I am. She's going now. Spray. Brake clean for lubrication. We should check, make sure your boot isn't binding up. Looks good. check it on the boot. Make sure it's not binding up. Yeah, it's good. Just make sure that boot is nice and flush, just like that, or you know, nice and even. You gotta keep turning. This is the pain in the ass of this whole thing. The biggest pain in the rear end. You know, you have to make sure these little teeth go in there. Oh yeah, one more thing. Yeah, make sure you align it so that. Hang on. Make sure you align it so that this thing that sticks out fits into one of these. So I'm gonna do that right now. Turn it so that it lines up and so that it's vertical. So when it goes in, it lines up with this. You know, so you can't have this in the way. It's gotta go flush. So when this lines up, it goes into this little recess right here. So it's flush. That's how you want it. So when it sits on the brake house, when it sits on the rotor, that's how it's gonna be. You know, so it sits nice and flush. Yeah, I'm just doing a test fit. Yeah, it's flush. What I do sometimes, to make sure it's all the way in, I put the new brake pads on it to see if it fits, and it does. It's recessed all the way as much as it needs to be. Okay, so in the back of the car, the ones in the front are different. In the back of the car, these are the caliper bolts themselves are 14s, and the caliper brackets too are 14s, evidently. Interesting. There it is. All right, here's your caliper bracket. Real quick, I'm gonna clean this off. Take the rotor off real fast. Just drive a screw into the, it's rusted on. Just drive a screw into these holes, these little provisions that they have. It should pop right out. That's it. There's your rotor. Clean up the hub face real fast. Little anti-seize. Got the new rotor right here. All right, so this is coated with something called Cosmoline. It's a rust inhibitor. It prevents it from rusting on the shelf before you buy it. So it's a greasy coating that's on here. So you want to make sure you remove the greasy coating, this oily coating, before putting the car back together. Put a lug nut on there to keep it in place. Of course, brake clean. That's why you need at least 2 of these, maybe 3. Make sure it's all off there. And for the back side, the inboard side, we spray. For the inboard side, we spray the towel. I'm not left-handed. And we just go like this. There's a space here. Just grab it. This way you don't have to screw around with it while it's on the ground and get dirt all over the new, your brand new rotors. Take note of where the hardware is and how it's set up. It's pretty easy. It only goes one way. But just, match it up with the new hardware. But before you do that, you take out the old hardware, clean up the surface with like a file or something like that to get this, there's not much rust in here, thank God, but you always want to clean up the surface. So take like a file and just clean the inside. But don't worry, I didn't forget about the guide pins. I'll clean those in a minute. Of course. Take it out, the drill. Clean it. One of these is gonna have this little rubber thing on it, so make sure you put them back in the right places. Do one at a time. Take one out, clean it, lube it, put it back in. Take the other one out, clean it, lube it, put it back in. That's it. Okay, so we put our. Oh yeah. You want to make sure no air is trapped in here. Just if it is, kind of take a look, burp it out. with your finger, you know, make sure it's nice and flush, make sure it seals properly, and you'll be good to go. Both of them have boots. Interesting. Some anti-seize where the ears of the pads go to lube it, to a little coating. Compare with the yellow one. And make sure that the this part doesn't come out too far, because the rotor goes between here. So if you have this misaligned, the rotor will rub against it, and you get a nice, lovely squeaking noise right after you do your brakes. You'll wonder why, because I've done that before. So make sure these edges aren't sticking out past the hole, you know, where the rotor has to go. Why couldn't the front just be as simple as this? They have separate clips on the front, 4 separate clips. And but this one has, I don't know, engineers. You gotta fight with this thing sometimes to get it in. Use like a screwdriver, and like these little annoying things, you gotta sort of push them into the hole here if you're having trouble getting it in. Don't break anything. It's nice and even, not sticking out past the hole. See? Alright, good. It doesn't flush with the hole there. No, it's good. Alright, let's put it back together. Yeah, I forgot to say the loud noises, sorry. Beautiful it is. Nice and shiny. Nice and quiet. I like to put the one with the squealer, the mechanical brake sensor, in back on the inboard side, and I put this one on the outboard side. Good. The damn thing was trying to come out. So just go right in like that. A little anti-seize on the top of the, you know, where the piston has to contact the backing plate of the pads a little bit, and also on the fingers of the caliper. So there you go. I'm gonna put some on the ears of the pads. I put some on there, okay? So no one has to yell at me in the comments. You didn't put any anti-seize on the ears of the pads. All right, there you go. Okay, good. There it is. Last step is to get inside. One of the steps is take this off. You won't be able to get your wheel back on. Get inside, pump up the brakes till you get a nice hard pedal. Put the wheel back down, or put the car back down once you put the wheel on, and take it for a spin. Make sure your brakes work. And pump up the pedal. Remember, pump up the pedal a few times. Very important. So you get a nice hard pedal. You don't want this looseness. You want these brake pads nice and right up against the rotor, so that your car stops when you need it to. I'm gonna do the other side real quick. There's no reason to show you the other side. It's the exact same as this, except it's opposite. I do it myself because I know it's being done right, and I'm not getting ripped off. All right, so yeah, that's it. All right, thanks for watching.